Vande Mataram children, I Mr. Basavaraj Nipani welcome you all to Sir Kalam Tutorial YouTube education channel. Dear children, as you all know, in my previous video class, we have started the discussion of chapter number 2 of Democratic Politics first, that is constitutional design, in which already we have discussed about first main topic, that is democratic constitution in South Africa. In today's class, let us start to discuss about second main topic of this lesson, that is why do we need a constitution. So in today's class we shall discuss about what is the importance of constitution and why do we need a constitution for any country or any government. So let us go forward. The South African example is a good way to understand why we need a constitution. Dear children, as you all know, in my previous class we have discussed about South African apartheid struggle, white Europeans rule, and the struggles of black people against white rulers. So in that discussion we have came to know that why there is a need for constitution and why black people were struggling against white rulers and what is the need for constitution, that we have discussed in the previous class. That becomes the best example to understand that why we need a constitution and what do constitutions do and what exactly constitutions do for citizens, what is their need, what is their function, how they work. The oppressors and the oppressed in this new democracy were planning to live together as equals, and we have discussed about the South African constitution and the democratic setup of South Africa in my previous video, and we came to know that black people were ruled by white people and white people ruled black people. But after the struggles, after a lot of movements, when they decided to write a new constitution for their country, they both together decided to live together in oneness and harmony. Oppressed and oppressors. Oppressors means people who are ruling, and oppressed means people who are ruled by the rulers. These both are called oppressors and oppressed. But these both of the people decided to live together and they planned to live together as equal to one another. It was not going to be easy for them. But in reality, it was not going to be easy because some of the people who were living in Africa, they were rulers, and some of the other people who were living in Africa, they were ruled by rulers. Means totally they were enemies to each other. But even though they were trying to and planning to live together, and it was not an easy task for them. How they should believe one another, that was the big problem. And also they had their fears. What kind of fears they had? They had their fears. They wanted to safeguard their interest. Black people had their own interests, white people had their own interest, and they wanted to safeguard their own interests, and they wanted to enjoy their own privileges, and also they wanted to have their own rights and equalities, and they wanted to protect all those interests. The black majority was keen to ensure that the democratic principle of majority rule was not compromised. And if you think that if there are elections going to be conducted in South Africa, automatically black people will win the election as they are having the majority. But they are not going to compromise their majority, and that majority is not going to have any effect on white minority. They wanted substantial social and economic rights. Here, both the black people and white people in South Africa had some plans, and they were planning to have a new constitution in which all the citizens are treated equally and all the citizens are given equal rights irrespective of their color, irrespective of their caste, community, creed, gender, religion, irrespective of any kind of identity. They are going to have some equal rights on the basis of social rights, economical rights, political rights, and substantial rights. And the white minority was keen to protect its privileges and property. And as you all know, the Europeans settled in South Africa and they were enjoying some privileges, and they had their properties, they had their plantations, they had their mansions, and they had enjoyed a lot of privileges. Immediately after the establishment of majority rule in South Africa, they were not ready to lose all their properties, lose all their privileges. they had the interest to continue all their privileges and they had to protect their properties. So it was their main interest. So in this way, there were different kinds of interest between these different groups, and both the groups were trying to protect their interests. So in this way, it was not so easy for South African leaders to draw up a new constitution. It was a major task. It was a difficult task for them. Then how they drawn up the constitution? Let us go forward here. After a long negotiations means after long debates, discussions, meetings, both parties agreed to compromise. Both the parties means the party which was led by black people and the party which was led by white people, they both sat together, they had a lot of debates, discussions, meetings, then they came to a conclusion. The whites agreed to the principle of majority rule. Here, the white minority people means the European people, people who were white rulers, people who followed apartheid system, they came to agree that they are going to approve and they are going to receive the principle of majority rule. Means who will get the majority in the elections, they will form the government. And they agreed upon that. And that one person, one vote. And they also agreed upon one more agreement, that is, each person should have the right to vote, adult citizen should have the right to vote, and one person should get one vote, and his vote must get a value. This was another agreement. And they also agreed to accept some basic rights for the poor and the workers. And though black people, though colored people, though white people, there were poor people, there were who were workers, who were working in the plantations, factories, industries. All such people should get some basic rights. They should get some basic equalities, political equalities, social equalities, and economical equalities. And they decided to agree upon this kind of rights also. The blacks agreed that majority rule would not be absolute, and blacks also agreed that if they get the majority in the elections, they are not going to impose some dirty rules on white minority or any other minority people. So they are going to get the majority, but the majority rule is not going to impose any kind of forceful laws on other kind of people. The majority is going to only rule the country, but it is not going to be an absolute rule. Absolute rule means a monarchical rule, means a dictatorial rule or only one person rule. If they get majority also, they are going to rule as democratic rulers only. This was agreed upon by black people. They agreed that the majority would not take away the property of the white minority. And they also agreed that black people are not going to take away the property of white people, and also they were not going to take their privileges. This compromise was not easy, but it was not an easy task. When we are speaking about this, when we are discussing about this, it seems very easy for us. But in reality, in practice, it was so difficult for white people and black people to agree upon. But how this was solved? How was this compromise going to be implemented? Even if they managed to trust each other, even if they had trust between each other, if they had believed each other, also it was not going to be easy. What was the guarantee that this trust will not be broken in future? In present situation, they can believe each other, they can trust each other. But how this belief, how this trust is going to remain forever in the future, it was not guaranteed. There was no any guarantee for this. So to make sure all the people are living together in oneness and harmony in South Africa, they had some other plans. The only way to build and maintain the trust in such a situation is to write down some rules of the game that everyone would abide by. So they made sure that they are going to write some rules. They are going to write down some rules. They are going to write down some laws which are agreed upon by both the groups, black people, white people, and other kind of people who lived in South Africa. Once the laws and rules are written, there must be a condition that each and every single citizen, irrespective of any identity, they must abide by those rules. They must follow those rules. So these rules also determine what the elected governments are empowered to do and what they cannot do. And these rules are also going to set that how the government should function, in what way they should function the government, and what are the rules must be followed by a government. This will be also written as a rule. Finally, these rules decide the rights of the citizens, and these rules are also going to give away some rights for all the common citizens, those who are not rulers. Government should also follow some rules and regulations which are set by the government. At the same time, each and every single citizen who is a common citizen, they are also going to get some rights. At the same time, they are also going to follow the rules which are set by the government. These rules will work only if the winner cannot change them easily. And how can all these rules work? The winner has no power to change these rules. Winner means people who will be in majority, who will win the elections, or the person who is the ruler. He or she cannot change all those rules. Those rules must be permanent. Those rules must be permanent. If they want to change those rules, there must be collective opinion. There must be collective opinion from both the groups. Those rules are not going to be broken very easily. This is what the South Africans did. So in this way, South Africans set some rules and some laws to run the government and to give away some rights to common citizens. They agreed on some basic rules. They also agreed that these rules will be supreme, that no government will be able to ignore these rules. And they also agreed that the rules which are set by both the leaders of white minority and black majority are not going to be broken very easily, and they become supreme rules. They become the supreme laws which are not going to be broken by anyone or any party or any person or any majority or minority. They are the supreme, means those rules are supreme here. In front of all those rules and regulations and laws which are set by the leaders during the making of the constitution, they will be supreme. This set of basic rules is called a constitution. So here we can understand that these kinds of set of rules which were set by South African leaders, that becomes the collection of rules, collection of laws, and that becomes the constitution. In this way, South African leaders had their new constitution in the country during 1964. Thus, the constitution of a country is a set of written rules. Then we can understand very easily what is constitution. Constitution is nothing but it is a written rules, it is a written law that are accepted by all the people living together in a country. So the constitution is a set of rules which will be accepted and followed by people who are living in a country. It may be democratic country or it may be any country. All the people who live in that particular region or that particular nation or state must follow the rules which are set by the constitution. Constitution is the supreme law, that becomes the supreme law that determines the relationship among people living in territory. So territory means it may be region or it may be an area, it may be state or a nation or a country in which all the people are living. People means citizens. They must follow those rules because that becomes the supreme law, that becomes the ultimate law which must be followed by everyone, which must be abided by everyone. And also the relationship between the people and government. So this constitution shows that what must be the relation between the government and the citizens, and how the relation must be built between different kinds of groups, and how people must participate in the process of government. This is all decided by a set of rules that is called a constitution. A constitution does many things. So now let us try to understand what are the various functions of constitution. First it generates a degree of trust. First, constitution generates a degree of trust between different groups, and also it develops coordination, and that is necessary for different kind of people who live together. This trust is very, very important. This coordination is very, very important because commonly we see different group of people will be living in different regions. In a region, we cannot see only one group of people. We definitely see different societies. We see different caste people. We see different religious people. We see different communities. So when people are living with different diversities, they must live together. So to live together with all such diversities, we need a set of rule. That is what generated by constitution. This is the first and foremost function of constitution. Second one, It specifies how the government will be constituted. So it also specifies that how government must be functioned and how government must be formed. That is also decided by the constitution. Who will have the power to take which decisions, and constitution also determines that who should have the power, who should take the decisions, right? What are the important decisions taken by the ruler and who should have that power? That is also determined by constitution. This is the second main function of constitution. And the third one, it lays down limits on the powers of the government and tells us what the rights of the citizens are. So it sets some limits for government. If once the majority is done and once the government is established by any group of people or any political party, that is not ultimate. They have some limited powers. Government means the government cannot do whatever they like to do, whatever they wish to do. There are some limits, there are some basic rules which must be followed by government. Even this will be also set by the constitution. So means the constitution tells us that what are the limits of the government, in what way the government should function, and what must be the rights of citizens. If the government is not working properly, if it is crossing its limit, what citizens should do, how citizens should take actions, what are their rights, what are their privileges. These things can also be determined by constitution. And the fourth function, that is, it expresses the aspirations. Constitution expresses the aspirations of the people. It expresses the interest of the people to create a good society. So ultimately, constitutions, the only aim behind the constitution is to build a new nation which is having a good society in which people are living in oneness and harmony. So these are the various functions of constitution. All the countries that have constitutions are not necessarily democratic. So you don't think that all the countries which have constitutions are called democratic. Many democratic countries have constitutions, even non-democratic countries also have their constitution. So in broader meaning, what is the need for constitution? How can we understand the broader meaning of constitution? But all countries that are democratic will have the constitution. But we must try to understand one thing, that all the countries which have constitution cannot be called democratic, but all the democratic countries have their constitutions. After the War of Independence against Great Britain, the Americans gave themselves a constitution. So after the Great War between the Great Britain and Americans had the constitution. And after the revolution, the French people approved a democratic constitution. And after the French Revolution, even France people also had their constitution. Since then, it has become a practice in all democracies to have written constitution. So America and France gave an example, and they showed a way why a democratic country should have constitution and what is their importance. Since then, all the democratic countries practiced this, and they continue to have written constitution in all the democratic countries. So this is all about today's class, that is, why do we need constitution? So these are all important points which we have studied so far in this class about why do we need constitution. In my next class, we shall discuss about the making of Indian constitution. Till then, take care. Goodbye.